Hello everyone, Spud here. In today's video, I want to take you guys with me on the process I took to rebuild this channel's namesake, the original Powerhouse Potato PC. The reason why we call it that, and the reason why I eventually named my channel that, was because this PC originally was pretty god-awful for gaming. It was a potato, really, and it wasn't really due to most of the hardware, just one component that wasn't up to the task, which I bet you guys can guess, and that was a video card. I'm going to go ahead and list the actual original specs of this system right now, and it had an i7-4770, a great, processor for video editing. It had 16 gigabytes of RAM, but that NVIDIA GT720 really held us back. It couldn't run games for shit. It couldn't run anything, really. So, while I was actually streaming on this machine, while playing on a console, I met my now good friend, Smoking LT or AMD Rules, depending on where you meet him, and he essentially hooked me up with a new power supply and a new video card, which is my first actual purchase of a video card, which was the GeForce GTX 780. It was a great card while it was alive. Those of you who watched my sort of PC gamer history video knows that it died very quickly on me, which sucked. But later on, I moved over to a 750 Ti because I didn't have much money at that point, and then eventually I went back up to a GTX 970 super clocked in this system, and that ran me for a long time. I loved that system. It was immensely fun to play with, got high frame rates, everything ran fine, until we started running into some CPU overvolting because the motherboard was not the greatest, and we were just having overheats because the cooler had its own issues. That's why you saw me earlier in the video cleaning off the thermal paste and reapplying it, because, well, it was pretty bad. But moving on from there, we got the thermal issues under control. We still have more work to do on this in the long term, but for now, we're essentially rebuilding it into a stream PC. And this power supply that you're seeing me put in here is actually also given to me by the same guy, the same Smoking LT, and I actually traded him the capture card I used to stream with for it, and now I use a new capture card. So pretty funny how things like that work out. I love streaming because of all the relationships you get with people on the internet. It's a great time. 10 out of 10 would recommend. But anyways, moving on, as I'm reassembling the system, there's a lot of nostalgia because this was my first gaming system that really lasted me, and that, I mean, it was starting to die, but that was more because of user error than anything else. And being able to rebuild and repurpose it, especially with spare hardware that I had lying around or I could trade for, was nice. Essentially, everything on this PC though is kind of on its last legs, so it's still a long time before I would call it a stable system. I need to replace the hard drive you see in there because that was a dying one that my dad threw out of his PC. I need to replace the motherboard, and I need to get a new case because the case that you're seeing here is terrible. The reason why this build is going to look awful and my previous build looked awful is because it has no cable management room whatsoever. The back panel is flush with the motherboard tray, so there's really nowhere to hide cables except for inside the hard drive cages and stuff, and yeah, it looks pretty awful. And so there's a lot of ketchup and mustard cabling going on in here. So I do plan on actually upgrading the system. I want to get it a different, more quiet CPU cooler. I want to get it a basic motherboard that won't overvolt the system on startup, and I want to get a new hard drive and a new case. And with that, I think I'll have a pretty happy stream PC. Now, the build process actually wasn't that bad. I had a few issues just getting everything in because it's a very strange case, but once it was done, I was pretty happy with it. We did have some issues where actually my reapplication of the heatsink wasn't as good as I thought it was, so I had to go back, take it off, and do it again because the thermal paste spread to the top left corner, which gave me some really weird thermals, like up to upwards of 99 Celsius in less than 3 minutes of streaming. Not good stuff, but we were able to get that ramped down, and we did almost 2 hours of stress testing on this system, streaming one of my old videos playing on loop on my main system, and it looked great. This is actually directly captured from the stream right here. And it never ran above 81 Celsius, which, yeah, it's still pretty fucking hot, but it's safe for CPU tests. And overall, I'm really happy that I'm able to breathe new life into my old system, and now I can also just offload all of the hassles of recording and of streaming onto another system. Right now, this is still sort of a pet project. It's not really ready for full deployment into my YouTube creator space, but maybe given some more time, and some more funds to really push into this project, we'll be able to get a pretty nice little streaming PC going. Because that processor I have in there, even though it's been overvolted a bit on startup, I still think it's a very capable processor. It can handle the streaming, it can handle the recording just fine. Anyways, guys, that's all I have to say in today's video. If you watched, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This was kind of a fun video I wanted to do. And anyways, guys, see you guys all in my next video. Bye-bye.